Hello and welcome to Campus Convo, where we bring you the most sensible voices from campuses across India. The last year has seen the most number of students' protests and movements, maybe more than the last 5 years put together. And these protests were led by very fiery and determined young individuals. We are here to talk to one of them today, Parichay Yadav from the Pondicherry University Students Council. He heads the council, is the president of the council, and he is also a student of Masters in Mass Communication. Welcome to the show, Parichay. 2019 has been a very crucial year for all student movements and for Pondicherry as well, right? And one of the many issues that you guys were fighting for was the bus ride or free bus ride for the students, local students. But, you are someone from Delhi, some 2,500 kilometers away from that place. How do you think you connected with the issues, the local issues mostly, not the generic fee hike ones, which are almost the same throughout the country? How did you connect to the very specific issues personally?
So, yeah, it's there that the language barrier is there when you are like new to a different culture, like altogether. So there would be some like issues you would not be able to connect personally with the students there. But the issue about like one of our demand was along with the fee hike protest was the bus fees that was implemented the previous year. So out of nowhere, the administration tried to increase the fees by 4,000 rupees, and the fees earlier was there was no fees earlier before that.
It was free.
Yeah. So out of nowhere, when the administration trying to implement these certain things, when we know, like I have personally, I have common friends with the students, the local students. Like I personally know students who have to take 2 buses just to reach the university, and before that the university buses were running like smoothly, there were no issues. But when the university had to increase the fees, so these students, they come from like very backward section of the society. If you put a burden of rupees 4,000, if their annual income is somewhat like 40,000, 50,000, and when you are putting extra burden of rupees 4,000 more, then definitely like in a public university space, they should not be accepted. First of all, because the universities, the public universities especially, they stands for, because in my personal opinion, the public universities are there for which represent different cultures, different communities across the country. It's not like for a specific community that the higher education should be there. So if like suppose a student is coming from a very marginalized section of the society, like mostly in Pondicherry, most of the people, they do fishing, suppose. Okay, so we can imagine like how much a person whose whole source of income is fishing would earn throughout the year. And it's for over the years, like since when the university came into picture in Pondicherry, there was no fees. So that's also a big relief to the families, to the parents. Okay, like the university is not asking for the transport fees. So obviously, suppose if there any say a girl child, okay, so a girl child is there, so that is in our country what is it, like a societal norm or like that, because the parents, they don't encourage the girls to like go for higher studies. So that itself is a when some institute is not charging the transportation fees, that is a relief in itself. So that is one point that we went ahead for it, because we always believe in a campus space that is inclusive in nature, and that has access, that can be accessible to any student across the country. It's not like just for a specific group of community of students.
Coming to a more recent protest, the university had asked for exam fees when there were no exams being held, and you guys protested and you won that battle. But everything happened virtually on the internet. It was a virtual protest, and I'm guessing this is the first one for you as well. How was the whole experience? Take me through that, how you ideated it, and how the entire protest happened online without any dharnas or gheraos or any slogans. How did it happen?
So as soon as the students somehow managed to get back their homes, So first thing the university tried to push is the online education, like, because they had this idea clear that online exams will take place, and for online exams we need to take online classes, because the syllabus at that time was around 50 or 60% completion rate was there in, like, mostly in all the departments. So this online classes thing was pushed on the students. Again, the students council was not considered. Their views were not considered. Not even any student representative around the university was called and like, okay, so what do you think how this thing would go? So this is certainly a big mistake on the university side, because it arises the question that like university spaces stands for the students itself and not for the university administration, as university administration is there to facilitate that thing. So this whole virtual thing was kind of a challenge for us as well. Yeah, because if you are physically present in a university space, then there are several ways. Then okay, let's call out for a protest gathering. After that, like, we can gear out the whole VC office like we did in the fee hike protest as well. So that was a big challenge. But as soon as this exam fees was this circular came, so we did not like have to do like a lot of work to organize the students, because as soon as the circular came out, the students themselves, like, I got like a lot of text from the students like what the council is planning to do against this thing. So the students were like already furious against this thing, because right before that the university had already released an anti student circular as well, which states that the students who have taken part in the protest would not be given their scholarships. So that was that was a big moment. And the students fought unitedly against that, and we were victorious, and the university was forced to take down that circular within 24 hours. So yeah, there is a challenge like when it comes to the virtual medium, because definitely if you're physically present there in a university, so it's easier as compared to the virtual medium.
Is it also easier to get people on board? Because, when there are protests, there's always one bunch of people who support you but don't really want to come out and be in that protest, or they're maybe scared, or they don't want to be out there. But in online format, it's much easier. You can just tweet, you can support from home, you don't really have to go out. Do you think these people also join in and that's an extra addition?
Of course it's there, because it's kind of a like distance politics, which like I have already given in a term. Because if you're calling for a protest gathering in the university, okay, so suppose there are like 5,000 students in Pondicherry University, so there is definitely a fear in the students community. Okay, so like suppose if if the admin would like spot us there would be some action like could be taken from the admin side on the students, and that happened during the fee hike protest. But this when we are calling for a virtual protest, suppose we are calling for a mass email campaign to the UGC, like which we did against this exam fees. So during that protest, the student's identity is kind of invisible. Okay, like he is not coming in the forefront, but what he has to do, he has to just mark his protest. So that would itself become a big movement in itself.
Coming back to your political life on campus, so you have said this to us last year when we spoke to you after you won, that unlike others, a lot of these student activists who have been in politics from childhood or have been exposed to politics in the sense that their parents were politically active, you thought of joining the SFI or being in politics when you came to college and you heard them speak, and that's when you got attracted to it, right?
Yeah, but I would rather say, since my graduation college, we did not have much politics there, but definitely we have a
you were not exposed to it also.
Yeah, I had a circle of friends even in Delhi. So we have been to a lot of protests as well, especially if I personally say that I would already incline to the left ideology. Okay, So I did not have like certain organizational politics before joining Pondicherry University. But as soon as like I came to the university, the it was the second day itself, and the students were sitting on hunger strike against the fee hike. So that was a because personally I haven't read like much text. What my politics is, it's through my experience only. So as soon as I
Right.
came there, the protest was going on against the fee hike. Then, like in the auditorium, the VC called the meeting, but the students get out the VC and all. So that was kind of my inclination towards the organizational politics and joining an organization. Because in
Hmm.
organization you have like a certain support system. Because individually activism, what the government is doing right now is they can easily charge you and put you behind the bars. You cannot do anything
Yeah.
like if you're alone. So that's where the like
True.
organizational thing comes into the picture.
There's a strength
Yeah,
because you're
the
all
strength,
together.
the unity.
Yeah. And, what we started off talking about, that's how you're from Delhi and you're in Pondicherry. There's a lot of language barrier, like you said. How was it like campaigning to a crowd that I'm sure there are a lot of people from across India, but you are campaigning at a place where the natives speak a different language. This is not a place you're native to. Was it different? Was it difficult? Or was it all the same? Would you have done it any differently now that you look back?
I don't think so that I would have done it like very differently, because suppose if I am a representative of the Students Council, suppose I'm holding the position of the president, right? So it's not like it's just me who's campaigning. It's like I know I have backup of the whole organization that is working day and night. My comrades are working day and night along with me. So first of all, it's a central university, so definitely the medium would be in English itself. Suppose if I am campaigning, so I am doing it in English itself, but there are like comrades which speaks various languages. Suppose we have comrades from Tamil Nadu who would like connect with with the local crowd there. We have comrades from Kerala, like they can connect to the Malayalam crowd. So but the idea, the picture is clear, the causes that we are fighting for, that is clear, the struggle that is going ahead, that struggle, the whole thing is clear, the strategies are clear. So it's I don't think like I would have done it differently in some other place. Yeah, really, I don't think so.
I also wanted to talk about the university as a whole. And PU has faced funding problems for a long time now. Your hostels are not good. They're actually, students have put out videos, pictures saying it's pathetic condition. And also, the university as a whole does not get that much funding. What do you think is a way out of it? It's a central university in a UT, maybe one of the poorer UTs, but it is a central university. What do you think the way out of this rut is?
Suppose you are appointing assistant professors or like the ad hoc professors as well. So what the UGC has done, UGC has asked the university to generate funds for itself, because the education budget has been reduced to 3.2 this year. Like every year it has been reduced since last 6 years. It has come to half the per capita budget to the students. So that is the bigger picture in itself. Because when the has been asking the universities to generate funds for its own, so there, especially in Pondicherry University, one major cause is there that every year the university's ranking is declining. So UGC kind of you know uh, do the funding on the basis of the ranking of the universities. So suppose last year Pondicherry University's ranking was 48, this year it's 58. So what you have done in past 1 year, that the fund needs to be given to the university. So that is directly a question to the university administration, and more importantly to the vice chancellor. So this question needs to be asked, and this is why we kind of need like a bigger movement where we ask that these public universities, and along with that we should also ask for an expansion of the public education system across India. So we just need not to accept, okay, so government does not have fund, so the government has reduced the funding. It doesn't work like that. Why the government is spending so much on the statues? Why the government is spending like waving off the lawns of like big businessmen? So it's just about the priorities that we need to ask questions, and alone you cannot do anything. You need a big movement where we should know, we should aware like how to integrate our different protests that are going on in different universities to the bigger struggle against it.
And unlike other administrations like JNU, DU, or even Jamia for that matter, Pondicherry University administration has always, or more often than not, replied to your statements, to your protests, whatever you've said, they have had a reply. Do you think they are more responsive?
What I feel is that in Pondicherry University, especially, the actions, the response of the administration in the last 6 to 8 months, that definitely directs in a way that they are trying to delegitimize this democratically elected body, especially not yeah, specifically the Students Council, because they think the university administration is there to acknowledge and to address the problems of the students. But that's not the picture when you are not inviting the representatives of students, which the students have chosen by themselves. So yeah, definitely they could have been more responsive. We are not getting any replies to our mails, to our calls. Like suppose I personally called the vice chancellor. A very recent incident happened that when the lockdown started, a lot of students were standing outside the university who used to rent out the houses outside the university. So they were running out of funds. So I made a call to the vice chancellor of the university. I asked him, I requested him to accommodate the students, because since they were running out of funds. All right. But what the vice chancellor response to that thing was that you don't teach me how to run a university. And I was like, sir, I'm not teaching, I'm just suggesting that the students are suffering outside. And he told me that you need not to bother about that thing. We are doing very good for our students. So this kind of approach by the vice chancellor of the university shows that the university definitely trying to delegitimize the students' politics in the university space.
There are always two sides to anyone who's in power. Like there's someone in power and there's an opposition. But at the same time, they also have civil discussions. They are courteous to each other when they meet outside that, sort of ring. Do you have such a relationship with the VC? Like, if you meet him, do you, have a chat, maybe have a cup of tea?
No, certainly not. Like, if I kind of feel, because what I feel is since the last 6 months, what his approach has been to the students community, then definitely I would not go out and like have a tea with him, because it's all connected. Okay, it's not like just inside the university, your relationship with the VC is kind of personal thing. It's not that. Vice chancellor is there to facilitate the students, and you as a representative of the students community is against that oppressive system that the university administration is trying to impose in the university. So it's not like that you are fighting against the same person in the university and going out to have a tea with the vice chancellor.
What I meant is, you can have a chat with him when you're not, protesting. You can go up to him. Is there an opportunity where you can go up to him and talk to him and say, sir, how are you doing? And, maybe discuss politics or journalism with him. Is there an option, or have you not met him in the past 6 months at all?
No, I have definitely met him in the past 6 months. Like there have been formal meetings as well as like a few informal meetings as well. But during those meetings itself, when we try to like raise these questions, very casually ask him like what's his approach to the students sitting on hunger strike. Suppose I met him personally during the hunger strike itself. I asked him like what's his what he's going to do when his students are suffering and sitting on hunger strike. So when a person has holding a position of the vice chancellor, and at the same time when he's saying that it's your fault and you are trying to just spoil the environment in the university, and I am not responsible for your actions. So this kind of approach, this kind of insensitive approach, it's not like, okay, he's holding the position, so that's why he's saying this thing. He personally, like, suppose I personally feel something, that's why I'm raising these questions against the administration. It's not like, okay, I'm a representative, that's why I'm raising these questions. I see there is an injustice going on, there is an this oppressive structure is there, that's why I raise questions. It's my conscience. But at the same time, when the vice chancellor of the university, it's he's also a person itself, and when he easily walk past the students sitting on hunger strike without even saying a hello or how are you doing, or along with that, when the university administration even asked the university health department not to check, like there used to be a daily check for the students who are sitting on hunger strike, their sugar level and all, so they have denied their permission to the health center as well. So it's kind of like your conscience should should tell you to do certain actions.
Still consider you a little bit luckier than people in JNU or DU because they've not met their VC for 1 year or more than that. So I would like to come to something more about you. So Parichay, when we spoke to you last year, you told us that you don't know if you want to actively be part of mainstream politics, but you want to become a journalist and cover stories mainly in the conflict areas. Do you think, first of all, do you want to pursue that same dream? Do you have the same dream, or has it changed? Do you want to join politics now?
How I contemplate politics is that everybody has a certain kind of politics. All right. Suppose even suppose a journalist is there in a conflict area. He's doing politics with his camera. He's making the people aware how these things are going on, how the state has been oppressive for the to the people who have been there in those regions. So politics, suppose there is a school teacher, all right, so he is also practicing his politics there. So mainstream politics, I cannot say now I would come to the mainstream politics, but definitely I would be keep doing what my idea of politics is, that I believe I believe rather being the voice for the people who are voiceless, you should create spaces, and these spaces could be created through these professions only. Like suppose there is a school teacher who's empowering his a class of 40 students. So that's how I see my politics is.
One of the basics of journalism has always been objectivity. You're supposed to be objective while reporting a story. You show both sides and you don't put your opinions in the story when you're reporting it. Given that you are part of SFI, which is a left-leaning body, do you think when you go and report, you will be able to be objective, or will there always be a left lean?
You should tell the truth, what the truth is. It's not truth cannot be a left leaning truth or a right leaning truth. Suppose if we take an example of how the reporters reported during the Delhi riots, all right. So suppose right leaning journalists, which we all know whosoever they have been portraying that thing as okay, so that this has been a conflict between two communities, but that was not a conflict. The truth would say that has been definitely on a certain community, the majoritarian community kind of incited violence on a marginalized community. So that's what the truth is. That you cannot call as left leaning truth. That is the truth.
Whenever we talk about anything in India, whatever the issue be, we always steer back to Narendra Modi. Whatever it be it student politics or defense or anything else, we don't concentrate on the ministries or the people responsible for it. We just, whether it's positive or against him, the discussion spirals back to him. Do you think that this narrative should change, and is it actually stagnating our democracy? Because we're talking about just one person. That's all we are doing.
See, I don't see it like that we like we always ask the question to one person, because it's been 6 years since BJP has been to power, and post 6 months, be it any issue with, suppose there is any scam in the roadways, so definitely we have asked questions to Nitin Gadkari as well. But what we all know, what we have all experienced, that Narendra Modi basically is doing a politics of me, mine, myself. Like if we see the very recent case of there was a conflict between India and China in Ladakh, right? So instead of the defense minister to go there and like address the soldiers, the Narendra Modi chose himself, and he went up there and he addressed the soldiers. So this kind of politics is very dangerous to a nation which which has democracy as its ethos. So definitely, like that's why we ask questions directly to the Narendra Modi, because this kind of politics of me, myself, that Narendra Modi is trying to do, that needs to be called out hugely, and we even criticize that thing also.
I was talking to a few people who are political analysts, and they were telling me that Narendra Modi is popular because he's part of every discourse. Whatever the discussion be, he is part of it, either in a negative way or in a positive way. He's part of it, and that's why people don't forget him.
Yeah, certainly it's there. Like if we analyze the last elections that happened in 2019, so it also like negatively impacted, like when we kept on asking the questions to Narendra Modi itself, because that give a boost to your image itself, like be it negatively. So the name is there, okay? So that Modi Leher that we used to talk about, it's there. So yeah, we should like avoid all asking the questions to we should start practicing asking the questions to the various departments itself. But at the same time, when the majority of the policies that have been bring out by the government, so it has a role. The Narendra Modi is playing a big role in all those policies. If we go ask questions to suppose if there any policy regarding the finance, and if we asking the questions to Nirmala Sitharaman, then definitely like there have been a meeting just post that. Okay, so being headed by the Narendra Modi itself, like what we saw during the COVID-19 the pandemic when it all started. So this meeting against when the nation was it's still going in, like the financial crisis is there. So when that big meeting was there with all the big businessmen, so it was headed by the Narendra Modi. Why not the finance minister of India? So that's why it's legit to ask questions like who's kind of bringing out the policies which are like anti people.
Thank you so much, Parichay, for joining us today. I wish you a very fruitful career in journalism, and may you be as objective as possible.
Yeah, thank you so much, and it was very lovely talking to you too. Yeah.
If you want to be part of the discussion, you can reach out to us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Subscribe to our channel to listen to the most sensible voices from colleges and universities across the country.